Hi everyone. I'm well aware I am the last thing holding you from a nice French meat platter, so I will keep it as energized and brief as possible. I'm not sure how many of you guys have heard of us before. Well, if you haven't, I'll give you a quick overview, and then why I'm really excited to be here today is that where historically we worked mostly with traditional content sites and traditional retailers, our technology is now expanding to also work with digital entertainment products, which is what I'll kind of focus on today. But let me dive in. So what SKIMLINKS does is it's a way of, for a content site, anything from a small blog, a forum, a newspaper, a content network, a social discovery site like Pinterest, for example, to get rewarded if what they write about results in someone buying something. And so what that means is that we work with about 20,000 retailers around the world, and when we find product links or product references, we turn them into trackable affiliate links to that retailer. So it means that if you're a blogger and you're writing about a great pair of shoes that you saw, we turn that reference into a link to where you can buy those shoes, say on Zappos or Amazon, and that blog will then get paid a commission if someone clicks through and buys something. And the reason that I think that's quite interesting, particularly in this kind of environment, is that when people come to a website, they don't come because of the advertisement. And apologies to anyone here that obviously is working in advertising and trying to make ads as engaging as possible. But the truth of it is people come to a site to read the content, to read the blog, to watch the video. And so all this effort is going into monetizing the space around the content, so banner ads, text ads, etc. But users are increasingly blind to these kind of banner ads and really just focus on the content. So, but what we get excited about is that we think that the inventory, there's this massive untapped inventory on content sites that consist of retailer links and product references. And these are currently, for the most part, being left there without any monetization. And what SKIMLINKS tries, and achieves, is being able to reward the publisher for referencing and linking to product references. And the reason that it's been interesting is that historically, either this wasn't being done at all, or if you wanted to do your own monetization of product references, it was an incredibly time-consuming experience. I don't know how many people here have ever had a blog or work on a big kind of content property, but doing monetization on your own for this kind of granular content is incredibly difficult to do as well as to optimize. For example, if you wanted to do it yourself, you'd have to first integrate with dozens of affiliate networks, like Commission Junction, like Linkshare, like Google Affiliate Network. You then have to go and apply to each individual retailer's affiliate program, sign up and get approved for Macy's, sign up and get approved for Zappos, etc. You then have to work out how to create a special link format for every single URL you include on your site. And that can be incredibly technical and easy to screw up. Then you'd have to put that ugly link into your beautiful site. So rather than it being a link directly to Zappos, it'll be a link to linksynergy.com, URL equals 123, etc. You then have to maintain all these links yourself if any of the syntax rules change. You then have to log into 30 different interfaces to collect all your revenue, and then you'd have to do all your optimization manually. And so as a result, historically, a lot of content sites just didn't bother with this form of monetization. It's too much effort for too little reward. And so when we came around 4 years ago, we said, actually, now it's really easy. All you have to do is add literally one line of code once into your site footer, and everything I've just described there is done automatically. So the ROI is suddenly incredibly positive, and you're getting monetization as well as really valuable analytics in a completely automated fashion. So for instance, Pinterest, who were using us for 2 years, they not only made a lot of money from it, but the analytics and statistics for it really gave them insight into the degree to which people use their content to buy things. And so this is just an overview of how we work. So there's a content site, and if there's an existing product link or an existing product reference, we'll turn those on page load into a monetizable link. So a good example of that, let's see if I can switch to my browser. So here's an example of us working, and it's a really nice example because it's user-generated content. And again, historically, user-generated content has either been avoided by brands because you can't control the messaging, or it's just really difficult to monetize. And what we're finding now is that user-generated content like forums or social discovery sites like Pinterest are some of the best ways to drive highly converting traffic to a retailer, or in the case of this conference, digital entertainment sources. So just to kind of see it in action, you can see here is a content site. I'm going to load it again so you can see, let's see if this live demo works, that it's a normal content site that has no links in it. And then when the page loads, you can see that these links appear. And so what SKIMLINKS does is it finds either very granular product references. So here's a link to where you can buy this particular product at buy.com. Or we find brands, retailers like H&V. So you can see that we've turned that word into a link to H&V, or product categories like Bose headphones. So here you can see that we've turned that phrase into a link to Amazon where you can buy these products. So this works fantastic for retail, but how does it apply to you guys? Well, if you are here we go, let's go back into this. Cool. So if you are a content developer and you've got either a mobile app or a web app or something that you distribute, you can actually use SKIMLINKS to monetize that content, not only on your site, but even where it gets distributed. We've got a whole bunch of APIs, so it means if you want to create a mobile app that lets people discover different types of products or different types of music or different types of games, for example, you can monetize that traffic and get really useful analytics about it with a great deal of ease. Now, this is where we're really excited. This is the first time we've even announced that we do this. If you are the owner of digital entertainment content and want to drive traffic, so historically you've probably done this by buying AdWords campaigns or very expensive PR agencies to kind of seed mentions on long-tail blogs. But what with SKIMLINKS you can do is run a campaign with us whereby, for instance, if you are a game distributor, or if you are a movie creator like Paramount, or if you have music properties, etc., we can actually take those, the name Rihanna, or Foo Fighters, or Call of Duty, or Rise of the Guardians, and across our network of over 20,000 long-tail, high-quality content sites around the world, we can actually find references to those properties or those entities and drive traffic to your site. So rather than have to rely on very expensive AdWord campaigns or really sort of battle uphill with offline PR agencies, you can actually create distributed campaigns, and it's not even a campaign, it's basically a blog that mentions Foo Fighters, and we can turn it into a link to the MTV EMA Awards page for the Foo Fighters. Or they mention Call of Duty, and we'll turn it for that month into a link to where that product can be previewed or downloaded. So it's a fantastic way for digital entertainment owners to be able to drive new kinds of very highly converting, interested traffic to your site without even having to go via Google. So we're here. I've got one of my team, Aaron, if you want to wave. If anyone wants to find any more questions or try things out, we're still in the early days and we're doing really good. There's not meant to be an advertisement, but it's a really interesting
It sort of is. Do you want me to charge you for this?
No.
No, keep going. It's great. Great presentation.
It's a really interesting alternate way, I think, and we're excited to see it works really well for retail. Let's see how it works for digital entertainment.
We have to jump to lunch, but before we do, are there any questions? Because this is, when I saw it, I'm like, what? You know, why isn't everybody doing this? So why isn't everybody doing this?
The secret of the web is almost, a lot of people are. Like, we already work with pretty much every major content publisher out there. You name a site and they
So the Google Analytics and all that, you take care of all of that, right? So when I sign up for a SKIMLINKS account, I don't have to sign up for my Google my Google AdWords or any of that stuff. You do all that.
If you want to still do Google AdWords, you can, but that means that your ads just appear essentially when someone does a Google search. What we try to do is go a step before, so we work with the content creators. The way we kind of think of it is that someone reads their favorite blog or their favorite newspaper, and that's where they get ideas. That's where they find out about a new game or a new movie that's coming out. Now, currently what they'll normally do is then open up another window, go to Google, do a search, and then maybe go look at the preview. But what we get excited about is, let's reward that content creator, the publisher, for creating that intent. So we're the ones that kind of frog leap over Google, and therefore you can drive traffic directly from a blog to your end destination.
Whatever you say sounds fantastic. I don't necessarily understand it, but I'm definitely going to try it because I figure you're making tons of money. There's a question here. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Let me run to you 1 sec. You're not going to be fast enough. You're good looking, but you're not fast enough. There.
Hi.
Hi.
There's been a debate about some of this in Australia on a bunch of women bloggers getting into exactly this situation, doing advertising. And the huge debate's been about, have they lost their credibility and their integrity because all of a sudden they seem to be promoting stuff as opposed to just writing about it and giving their personal view.
Yep.
Your thoughts?
It's a really good question. So there's two parts to the answer to that. The first is, if anything, the way we approach this is even better from an editorial integrity perspective, because you're separating the blogger from the monetization aspect of it. So what this kind of approach lets the content creator do is write what they want to write about, and free of any kind of thought process of the monetization of it. And then SKIMLINKS, similar kind of monetization, will work after the fact. So you're separating the people away from thinking about monetization, and it's being done after the fact without marring the editorial integrity. And then secondly, all that kind of stuff is okay as long as there's disclosure. So for example, here you can see a little tooltip will appear, and it's gone. But if you were seeing it, there's a little tooltip that appears that says this link's been added automatically. So there's implicit disclosure. Because, there are some very strict rules now around being paid for recommending things.
People are chomping at the bit. We have one last question. Kate at the back, quick one.
Hi. No, I mean, sponsored stories
Is it like Facebook sponsored stories for all of these? You didn't hear it. Go ahead.
The sponsored story is quite a different thing. My understanding of it is that as a brand, you pay for your kind of content to be pushed out to a wider network. So it's a totally different approach to monetization. Very interesting. We love Facebook's approach, but this is much more about content that's being written now outside of Facebook and helping those creators get rewarded for it. Facebook's much more about extending the reach of your message across the social graph.
Big round of applause for Alicia.